All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome
Right.
to another edition of Woman Crush Wednesday. And I hope y'all will excuse the non-liveness of the last couple weeks. I've been doing a lot of moving around and organizing and cleaning. So it's been helpful to be able to pre-record a couple of these so that, in fact, I think while you're watching this, I may be driving across the country or hanging out with family, something like that. But anyways, so little bit of a different format, but same old SJ here. And my lovely guest this Wednesday is Claz or Claire. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you
Lovely
for having me.
background. Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Awesome. So we're just going to jump right in and get right to
Please
it
do.
with these lovely questions. So yeah, thanks again for coming on. And my first question here is, how did you find Richard Hart or Hex? Or if you were into crypto before Hex, how did you get into crypto? And then how did you find Hex through that process?
Yeah, so for me, I think my search for financial freedom, it's been a really long time coming. And I honestly, truly believe the people that find Richard Hart are searching and they've had to kind of maybe work hard for it. At least that's my impression on my journey. Um, so the practical sort of end game on how I found him was I just kept walking past the TV and the Hex Late Show was on, or there was a Richard Hart stream, and I was kind of just, a bit curious, but also just, oh yeah, that's the show my husband's watching. And then we were into all these altcoins at the time, and the Hex price kept going up, and we were taking profits. And we did that cycle probably 5 to 8 times before I was sort of like, oh, we keep doing this cycle. Maybe we should look into it a bit further. And that was probably about the perfect timing, because it was about 15 months ago. It was just before the PLS sacrifice time, I think, or probably maybe before that actually. And we did like quite a deep dive into Hex, and really we're just hooked. Like, we loved the community, loved the videos, like just got addicted to learning about the ecosystem. And we've kind of just been on that journey ever since, and especially in the last few weeks, I would say just ultra focused into that. But before that, like, I feel like we really were constantly pursuing financial freedom through real estate. We have a lot of investment properties, tried small business, tried share trading, got wrecked. And then I make a good wage. I work as a doctor. So that has always been a good, like, obviously, staple financially for the family. But, we're a bit greedy. We want, I suppose, a little bit more from life and to pursue our passions that don't make us money. And for that, yeah, we feel like Hex and the Richard Hart ecosystem is the way forward for us.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Isn't it exciting?
It's so exciting. Like, we can't tell you how excited we are. And I spend, like, once I get hooked on something, I get a little, some may say fixated, but I like to say focused, and just like pour myself into it, like just learning. And it's even the learning process and being part of the community, like, it's been such a blessing. Like, we've honestly had like the best time just learning about it, seeing the opportunity, discussing the different options. And yeah, do you find it enjoyable, like the learning aspect of it? Like, you're probably through that part of it now.
Yeah, no, it's yes and no, because I think I learned enough that I feel secure in the investment, right? Like, I've learned enough where I'm just like, yes, this absolutely makes sense. And the people that I'm hearing talk about this in their ways makes, like, for example, Whale's Only One. He's one of my favorite YouTubers, and the way that he describes the current fiat system, right? The stock markets, because that's where he comes from, right? He's in that world. And hearing him talk about the way that Hex works in comparison, or like, taking these real world examples and kind of making them make sense within the Richard Hart ecosystem, that is where it helps me to wrap my brain around everything, right? But I still feel like there's just, because I got into crypto through Hex, basically. Like, I did a few years before. I had bought a few different altcoins and things like that, but I was very hands off. I bought them, I put my money into this, and then it just sat for years until Hex came along. And then I was like, oh, let me move all my coins into Hex, and then went from there. So with the test net, with, Pulse chain coming, there are still things that I know that I need to really get a handle on, like providing liquidity. I don't necessarily want to do any farming, but I'm interested in providing liquidity, and I want to be able to vote for a validator, right? Like,
Oh,
like
love
little
it.
things like that. So
Yeah.
I've done a couple of those things on testnet, but I would have to watch a video again while I'm doing it to make sure that I'm doing it right. So yeah, like I've learned enough about Hex where I'm just like, yes, like I'm invested and this is great. And I'm excited for Pulse Chain and Pulse X. But there's still, within crypto, I think in general, there's still a lot of little nuances and a lot of little things that you can do to not necessarily multiply your gains, but I guess like secure everything and be more of a part of the ecosystem. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think also like keeping it simple is probably the ultimate play.
Yes.
And I think Johnny Chaos was alluding to this about just buying the coins and walking away.
Yep.
And sometimes I think that's the best thing that we could do. Like I get so bogged in the details. Like I keep going back to that extra 5%. I'm always trying to push myself. Like I just want that extra 5%. And I get into the nuances and I go in my little merry-go-rounds and down rabbit holes. But yeah, honestly speaking, I think the simplified approach is probably the master approach for most of it.
Yeah, and that's the nicest thing for me to hear because I would rather just like, when people are talking about all their strategies for Pulse Chain launch and like what they want to do and all these things, I'm just like, wait, but didn't we buy Hex to stake it and hold it? And then, yes, of course I know, like I sacked for Pulse Chain and Pulse X too, but it's the same for me. It's the same thing. Like that's why Hex was so attractive to me, because I like the idea of not having to look at charts every day or worry about what the price is. Like I'm just here to have it there.
You know what? I think you're going to actually make more money than most, because I think the greed will cause people to take action when actually what they need is inaction. And even because there's so many temptations, like there's things that could make you a little bit more without risking it, like staking your PLSX, like single-sided staking. But then there's things like people not being satisfied with, the fees they're going to earn with delegating their PLS. And so they take out a loan, they don't keep an eye on it. And that's when things become a little bit tricky.
Sorry about the dog.
Oh, no, it's all
She's
good.
so loud.
She's doing her thing, man. It's an orchestra. Hold on. Don't stress. I'm used to like noise, so.
Anyways, let me ask you another question, and then I might mute myself for a second. She's freaking out. What would you say to anyone who may be watching this and they just happen to stumble upon this on the internet and they're like, what is crypto? Why do I want to get into crypto? Like, just for someone who may not have any clue, like what's a very basic thing that you would say to someone who's looking into this system of cryptocurrency?
What I would say is that it's going to be a learning process, and I think people have to commit to the learning process. And so what you're going to need ideally is a champion, like somebody that's actually, and ideally this is like your spouse or someone that you share your finances with, because in order to keep your privacy and safety, you would have that person. But for many people, that may not be the case. So you do need to commit yourself to the education process. And the websites that I would recommend would be hex.com and howtopulse.com. And then there's someone called Fashion Coder, who we love, who has made some fantastic onboarding videos that are short. And there's a learner's guide, because it can be very daunting. You ideally should have a new laptop you're only going to use for your crypto. You got your hardware wallet, which is like your safety, your centralized exchange, so you can bring your money into your MetaMask. And all of those, there's 4 or 5 big key areas there. And the learner's guide is just going to break that down for you. And it's going to make it simple. So once all of that is set, and you've got money or coins in your MetaMask, then the simplest thing to do, especially with all of this new chain coming out, what to do, just get the 3 main products, Just buy them early and just hold them. So you can stake your HEX, you can stake your PLSX, and you can delegate your PLS. So just buy and hold strategies. Don't try and play fancy games. Just buy as early as you can for as much as you can afford without overextending yourself, and just hold for a period of a minimum of 2 years with no touchy-touchy.
Brilliant. So brilliant. Yes, that is wonderful.
I got the touchy-touchy from krypToe Kool-Aid.
That's my guy. That's how I got into HEX. He's the one who, yeah, he's the reason.
He's so sweet
that I'm here.
He came on our stream, and yeah, he was super sweet. And
I watched the first little bit of that. I need to finish watching that stream. Yeah, that one looked awesome.
We had lots of fun.
Very cool. I'm going to link, I just made a note to myself. I'm going to go ahead and link, actually I'll link to that stream because I'm sure that's great. Anything Kool-Aid's on.
Yeah, it's a fun stream. We have a good time.
And then,
and of course, like, he's really clever. So, and
yes.
Hodpro was there as well, and she's really clever. So, me and TicTac were just like rubbing our hands together. We're like, how did we pull this off? I don't know.
Nice. Yeah. So I'll put the link to that video. And then I'll also put the link to a couple of Fashion Coders videos. She was one of my first guests a few weeks back. So yeah, really awesome. I love her content as well.
Yeah, it was really good.
Sorry. Okay. So number 3, this is a great segue into this, because you were just talking about your own stream that Kool-Aid was on. So tell us a little bit more about the role that you play in the community, and what your channel is and what your content is and what you bring. What are you bringing?
Yeah, we are bringing content. So we love the detail, like TicTac, krypToe and I, we love the detail and we love the nuances. And we do a lot of disclaimers at the start of our videos to kind of say, look, we're discussing the nuances. And throughout the video, we're always alluding back to what we were talking about before about safety strategies and what the main plays are, which is just to buy early and hold. But we go straight into those nuances and all of those details. And we don't try to interrogate our guests, but we do try to really explore the options within the ecosystem. So we're targeting, I would say, the intermediate and above user. So it's not an onboarding stream as yet. We just thought, because Pulse Chain was coming out and, we thought we had this very small window, we would get in there and just go straight for the guts of it. And of course, we want to empower women. We want to see more women streamers. And we thought, what better way to do it than to just do it?
Yes.
And we don't, like, with our guests, we don't care if they're male, they're female. We don't care how many, if they're girls and boys are coming on together. Like, we're not choosing our guests based on their gender. We're just choosing our guests based on who will say yes. And yeah, that's where we're at. And then we try to milk them of everything. And of course, they have their own privacy and rules and stuff. So whenever we have the guests, we try to milk them of their knowledge, try to have a good time doing it. And now we're having fun with it.
Awesome. Okay. Let's see. So, I like this one. I like this one. My next question is, could you share a quote, a mantra, a saying, a song, just anything really that uplifts you? Something that, if you're having a bad day or you're just kind of like feeling a little down, what is it that you do to just, kind of get out of that funk and move on with your day?
I've got lots of different ones, like depending on the area of my life that needs tweaking. Like, say, for example, I'm having an emotional day or my hormones are whack. Usually I would eat my way out of it, but I'm on like a calorie restriction currently. So I just sit there, and a couple of people have said this to me before, and you just have to sit with it, and you just sit still and just sit with the feeling. And when you sit with it, you'll be surprised like how well you can handle just sitting there with it. You're like, oh, this is not so bad. Like, it kind of sucks. I think it's good to verbalize the emotion. Like, I'm feeling sad because, and which is lame, but I often tell my husband, like, oh, I'm really hormonal and I feel sad because, and I'm not looking for solutions there. I'm just like, this happened. I don't have any solutions yet, but I'm just going to sit here and I want to cry, but the tears aren't coming. Often that's like one of my complaints. If I could just cry, I would feel better, but there's no tears coming. And then I sit there and I'm like, is there a tear? And no tears. So that's the one I use for when I'm sad. I use a lot for if I have to do like a presentation, a very high level presentation, like an examination, or if I'm running, which I don't like doing and I don't do very often. I often go to very savage warrior mode,
Nice.
which is so one of the visual aids, one of my mentors, she's a doctor. She helped me through my final exams, not as a doctor, but through my specialty training. So those exams were quite tough to get through. It was all face-to-face kind of verbalization. And she said, like, what you need to do, her first part I don't really use because I don't identify, but maybe some people will, is that you have to straighten your crown. So almost like we often, like, people naturally slouch. So even as I'm saying it, I'm like straightening up, and you imagine like you're Kate Winslet and you're straightening your crown. And that will immediately give you, exactly, that will immediately give you the posture that you need. It sounds lame, but it does. And then the other part to it is like you're the warrior princess. So I don't know if you've seen like Red Sonja. It's so old school. Oh my God, I love it. Or just Cena, just like Cena, warrior princess, you know, like old school with the sword. And like she's like reaching, she does that action like where they reach behind to get their sword. So whenever something is like, I feel like I need to go into bat for something hard, like say there's a patient deteriorating, specialists won't do what I want, specialists won't take to theatre without CT, something like this. And you have to just like battle academically or with your words or whatever the battle is. And I visually just like imagine like, oh, this is like this is just like, this is not happening. Like the no, I'm not accepting this no. So that's one of the visual ones I use. And then the other one is when I'm running. And that can be like really, for me, it's really tough to run. I'm not a natural runner. And my trainer sort of taught me this, and she said, it's so like, it sounds crazy, but it's like bird of prey, watch over me. So like, as you're running, I just imagine this like bird of prey, like tuning into like a bird of prey. I don't know why that works. It just does for me. So they're the ones I use. But if you're going for more of a complex task, and something that is going to take you, like it's a long-term goal, like it's the 2-year goal, like it's an academic, got to get through this course, or I've got to something more complex, I want to be like a really good artist, or whatever the complex journey is, then you need to just break it down into steps. But during that process, you need good mentorship and to make sure that you're on the right path and the proper resources, and that often takes money. And to really always being tuning and focusing to make sure that you're using the right resources, you have the right mentor, and that you have broken down those steps appropriately for your goal. And then what is your goal, and is it the goal for you, and does it match where you're at? So yeah, I use a lot of those things. Do you use that kind of stuff?
Everything that you said is a lot more visual than things that I would use, I guess. And I love that. Like that was a real, like I'm all about this like weapon slicing, like
yeah, it's idea. A little violent, but it tends to work.
No, I love it. It's good because it's like you're preparing for battle, you know? It's like, yes, let me get my battle axe out of here.
And it's not like you're going to accept the no either. It's like, oh no, there's a battle. It's happening.
Right. So I would say for me, I do a little bit more, I think I have to put myself somewhere else. It's easier for me to change my mental state if my surroundings change. So for example, if I go out and have a walk in nature, that's usually my first go-to thing, is to just get out of the house or get out of the car, wherever it is that I am, and go somewhere where it's green. And I can not, it doesn't even have to be green. Like it could be a like desolate, dry desert with, you know, like wind blowing and tumbleweeds or whatever. But as long as I'm outside, that to me is almost always the answer. Like it always allows me to just kind of put myself in my place in a way, you know, it's like you realize all of a sudden that you're this little person on this dot flying through space. And you know what really is important. And I had a friend who got it's a saying from a book, and I can't remember which book it was or who the author is, but the basically the idea is that when if you're getting like caught up in your head, or if you're anxious or something, the thing he would say, he had asked me, what time is it and where are you? And the answer to those questions is now and here. So what time is it? It's now. And where are you? You're here. So that's a little similar in your sitting with it. You know, it's the realization that yes, I'm here. Right. And I'm going through this, and this is, and that's fine. So yeah, those are a couple things.
I love that. I use that for like before I was going to give birth. I don't like painkillers, which is awkward for the second time that I gave birth because I remember the first time. So I was using meditation for my anxiety, and a lot of it was around, it's on Netflix, and it's Learn How to Meditate, and they're short videos, thank goodness. But a lot of it is like you're watching the bus drive past, like that bus is your anxiety. It's there. You've acknowledged it. You can see it, but it's driving past you. Like you don't necessarily have to be on the bus. Like you can just watch it drive by. And that kind of helped me a lot. Yeah.
Excellent. So the next question is, what is something that you love to do outside of the crypto space?
Oh, that one's easy. So my ultimate goal, like I'm an emergency doctor who wishes that she could be an artist. And actually, I think the right combination for me is to do both, which is what I'm doing at the moment. But in the back of my head, I'm like, if I just had more time to my art, my ultimate goal is to study at the Florence Academy of Art. And to get into their certificate program. But my skills, I'm probably 3 to 5 years away with my skill set. And I can only dedicate, every second week to it. So yeah, oil on canvas, like traditional methods, that's my passion. I have a master teacher who I spend many hours with her on that week I have off. And we do things like studies on Caravaggio. So I've got 3 of those going.
Wow.
We're starting a new one soon. And we've got the portrait of Richard that's almost finished as well, which we're excited. Yeah.
Are you able to share by chance? Because
Yeah,
I know you
I
brought that
can.
up, and I wanted to definitely wanted to
Oh,
share
yeah, I
this.
can. What I will do is I will just go onto my Twitter and then I'll share my screen.
Perfect.
The computer will automatically go to my husband's Twitter, so it's just going to take me a couple of seconds.
Yeah,
So
no
do you want to
worries.
share, while I'm loading that up, do you want to share what your passions are, SJ?
Sure. I do want to say one thing before I go into my passions. And actually it kind of relates. Okay. So I went to school. Well, I'll talk about my whole college experience some other time, but I should have chosen a different college perhaps because I didn't really go anywhere that had my major. So I ended up kind of bouncing around a bit. I ended up majoring in art. What I wanted to do was I wanted to be a photojournalist. Photography is one of my passions. I love taking pictures. I do something called poetry, PHOETRY, where
I love that.
I take photos, and the photos I print no larger than 8x10, and as small as 4x6 or whatever, but no larger than an 8x10, because what I do is I take the photograph after it's printed and then I put it into my typewriter.
Come here, honey. It's okay. You can have a cuddle. Sorry, keep going. I'll just give her
No
a cuddle.
worries.
She's recovering from COVID, so we've had this intermittent nausea cry thing for a while.
Needed.
Cuddles
are the best.
Keep going. It's an ongoing thing.
I put the photo in my typewriter, and then I type poetry onto the photo, or like just little sayings or something little. But I wanted to bring up that when I was in college, the worst grade I got was in my drawing and painting class, like out of all my college studies, because as a photographer, I just, like art is great, but as a photographer, it's just like, I see it here and I'm taking the picture. Right. So I have such an admiration for people who can draw and paint, because I'm not patient enough.
They sit on the couch.
Maybe as part of it. Like I don't have the patience to like do that,
I feel like your teacher has done you a disservice there, because I think you're going to be an amazing artist, and I can't believe what did this yeah. And do you have any of your work that you can share?
Ooh, not with me available right now. Yeah, we're in the middle of moving, so everything's kind of like packed and scattered.
So I can share my screen, but I think you just have to enable it on your end, and then I can share.
Let me see. I wonder if this. I'm going to make you the host.
Oh, yeah.
And then look down at the bottom and see if it allows you to do that.
Let's have a look. Yep. One share. Yeah. Okay. Share screen and Chrome. Here we go.
Oh, you muted yourself. I can't hear you. You're muted. I can see your screen, but I can't hear anything you're saying. Oh, I still can't hear you. Oh, that was weird. You were
Can you hear me?
unmuted? Yeah, I can hear you now, but when you share your screen,
You're not gonna be able to hear me. So maybe I'll introduce the portrait and
okay,
then you
let's do
can
that. Yeah,
look
yeah.
at it in silence, like a silent gallery.
Yes, I like it. I like it.
Like a silent disco. So
Perfect.
this portrait has been in, we've been working on this for a long time and I've got so excited and I keep on messaging Richard and my husband's like, just stop already, because I'm so excited. And then it took a lot longer than I thought to finish. But so I started the portrait and then my teacher, she found out how famous and rich Richard was and she was like, stop touching the portrait. And I was like, okay. And then she took over.
Wow.
which is the best thing for the portrait, really. But anyway, it was a collaboration.
Okay.
I love the color of his shirt. We'll see what you think. Everybody gives me grief about this shirt, but here we go. Let's share now and we'll do a silent viewing. Stop sharing.
I love it. I think it contrasts really well with everything else in the picture.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about that green, but everyone told me like get rid of that green and I was like, no. And then over time, my teacher started with the like, what are you doing? And then over time, she's like, yeah, I can see how it could work. And then, yeah, I think I love the green. I really feel like the green, like with time, will like, I don't know. I think with time, people can appreciate portraits different. Like initially, I can only imagine, I've never been given a portrait of myself before, that people would be like, oh, okay, yep. But I really feel like it's something that's appreciated. It's like a, you know, like an heirloom. It's something that is only appreciated with time. So yeah, we're excited. She's probably got maybe 2 more hours to do and it's done. And then we'll see if his carrier pigeon will accept said portrait and off it goes.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Otherwise it's sitting on my piano forever. Ha ha ha.
Yeah, no, it is lovely. I love the way, like, I feel like you really captured his, like, I don't know, like this, like wellness about him, you know, like he looks like well and happy there. And I love it.
Oh, because it was like from a YouTube video and he had just finished explaining something and then he was happy. So it was just capturing that joy after he'd like shared some of his knowledge.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's beautiful. Well, it's a short stream usually on Wednesdays. So we have our last couple questions. The first one is, where can we find you? And I will also put all this information in the description, but go ahead and let us know what your Twitter handle is.
Oh yeah.
And your YouTube channel, and then anywhere else that you are sharing information that you want to share with us. Yeah.
So our YouTube channel is Claz and TicTac krypToe. That's our YouTube channel. I think we have 150 loyal subscribers. Thank you very much. We've only done 3 videos. So yeah, we're excited to keep going. And then Twitter, just my name's Claz on Twitter, but my handle is Hex, PLS for the win, on Twitter. And that's awesome. All the places I am.
Perfect. Yeah, it would be really cool. I'm going to hit up TicTac and find out if maybe she wants to come on. And then I can have you in sequential weeks. So I'll have you, and then I'll see if she wants to come on. That'd be awesome.
She'll love that. She's an awesome chick. Yeah. I think we have similar backgrounds. So I feel like, I don't know, we have some kind of shared, like, I don't know. Yeah, we're both country girls. But then we had like, you know, she had a job. Anyway, you'll find out all about her. But I feel like we're similar in a lot of ways.
Excellent. Very cool. And then the last bonus question, and I think you might be able to answer this one because not everyone, you know, really knows who Richard is or has read Sci-Vibe. So I guess the first pre-question is, have you read Sci-Vibe yet?
I've read the chapter on respect twice.
Okay.
And then I was reluctant to read the rest because I already like love Richard so much. It's like, how hard do you want to love this man? Like, and I'm already spending a lot of hours in the ecosystem. So I do actually want to read the rest of it. But each chapter, and you would know this, actually is really complex. Like if you're dealing with someone that has like a genius mind, there's going to be like so much within that one chapter that I honestly feel like I need to read that chapter a third time and just like reflect on it.
Yeah.
But I love the chapter on respect, and I find it really entertaining at the same time because he talks about how he picks up women. Um, and his ideas around relationships.
Yep.
And I find that like kind of super interesting. Like, say for example, you're at a club and you see Richard Hart, like mega bonus, right? But then he doesn't want to be smack bang in the middle of the dance floor, but he doesn't want you at the end of the bar. So like, ladies, you're gonna have to read this chapter if you want to know like where to stand. But what did you get out of that chapter? Like, what was your like take home from that chapter?
Ooh, I'd have to read it again, to be honest, because I'm really inundated, like what's the word, immersed in his other book right now, Fix the World. So
Oh,
I've kind of, sci-fi is kind of like this like jumble of thoughts and things in my brain right now, and Fix the World is just like at the forefront. Yeah. So I'd have to read it again, because honestly, the reading that I did, like my audio version, that's the first time I've read it. So I was reading it like to record it, as like I thought that was the first time I'm going along reading this book. So yeah, it's definitely something that I'm going to be like taking more time with, and doing more. I'm going to reread it after it's edited a little bit better.
Yeah, I think there's
we'll do
actually
another
some really
version.
good messages for women in there as well, in around to how to present yourself. For example, I think a lot of maybe some women fall into the trap of we're very self-deprecating, and one of the things in that chapter is that don't do that. Like, why do you want to lead with that? Don't do that. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of practical tips like that that I found useful.
I'm glad that you said that specifically, because the episode from last week, when this is airing, so the Woman Crush Wednesday Gone Wild, we spoke about that. Not necessarily in reference to Sci-Vive, but that got brought up, that topic about self-deprecation, because I don't remember how it got brought up, but it was just one of the things that's the hardest type of personality for me to be around, is people who are self-deprecating, because I just have never had that kind of mentality. Thankfully, like it's never been something that I've thought like about myself. And it's weird because it's also not necessarily the opposite either, right? Like I've never been like, I'm the best, but I've also not ever been like self, just like down on myself. So it's been this like fine line of just like, like knowing I am who I am, and maybe not giving myself enough credit in some cases. But yeah, like saying that, oh, I'm like this, but you wouldn't like that, or, like it's stop it. You're like that because that's the way you are. And whoever's going to love you is going to love you
And
like
I
that.
always tell people, like, unless you tell people what you can do, they don't know. They're not a mind reader. They're going to assume that you can't do that unless you tell them that you can. So it's not necessarily about being a show pony. It's just to say that this is my role. This is what I can do. And it's just stating fact.
Yep.
So it is a hard balance. And especially with my work, it's a very fine line between being humble, because I always have to be willing to change my mind. I can't stick to an argument hard and fast. If new information comes in, someone's got a better idea, you move your opinions. But at the same time, if you are right and you know more, then you need to exert yourself. So I think as women, generally speaking, we need to move away from the deprecation and not go full show pony, but let's just step it up a little bit more to the show pony zone.
Nice. Maybe show chicken first and then show pony.
Show chicken. Yeah, like the fluffy ones, like the really like not super aggressive ladies, but the ones with the feathers, the ones that have the feathers that are like, oh.
Exactly. I love it. All right. So last question. What do you love the most about Richard Hart?
Oh, what I love the most is the opportunity he's giving my family and me. Like, who I couldn't do it for myself. If I could, I would have already. Like, financial freedom has just been beyond my grasp, unfortunately. I've got a job that pays me an incredible amount. So privileged to have that job. I've got investment properties. We're both quite smart, me and my husband. We can research, we understand things, and yet we haven't found financial freedom. And he is the one that is offering this to masses of people. And that's what I love about him. He's giving everybody this opportunity for financial freedom. And that's what I love about it. And the whole process has been super fun. And he's like super interesting. All the ladies love him. So it's a bit of an enigma. I think that's fantastic.
Awesome. Yeah, I totally agree. And enigma, it's a great way to put it.
Yeah, the name of that
Excellent.
diamond was just perfect.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, now it's more perfecthex.com because obviously the products are based on that. So it is more perfect now, but yeah, I like the name Enigma as well.
Sweet. Well, did you have any other questions, comments, anything else you want to close with before we end our evening?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, so you're going to PulseCon in September?
I am. Yes, I actually canceled plans before and after so that I'm there the entire time and just gonna like take it easy. We're gonna drive the van out there because that's my thing. We do van life. So yeah.
I love it. And will you have a speaking role at PulseCon?
Not that I know of. No, I am doing at least I was asked by Maddie Allen to do the online PulseCon thing. I don't even know what. I might just sit, hopefully I'm just on a panel somewhere because I don't know that I could fill a whole like 30 minutes by myself, but
oh, it'd be good to see you there anyway
yeah.
on the TV. I'm not sure that we're going just with the little kids, probably not. Gotcha. But yeah, it would be good to see you on the telly anyway.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely be around for sure. And I know Kool-Aid's speaking, so that'll be fun.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
I love Kool-Aid.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much again. I appreciate it. And again, everyone, make sure that you check out her channel, her and TicTac doing some awesome things. Check out all that stuff in the description, like, subscribe, all those fun things. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Take care, everyone.